I never thought that a single sentence from my teenage daughter could shake me to my core. But that day, she did. My name is Claire, and I've never claimed to be a perfect mother. After my husband, Mark, passed away 5 years ago, I struggled more than I ever admitted out loud. I worked 2 jobs, barely slept, and spent most nights crying quietly, so my daughter Lily wouldn't see me fall apart. But trauma doesn't care about schedules, and grief doesn't wait to be invited. Lily recently turned 16, old enough to understand things, but young enough to misunderstand everything. She had grown close to my late husband's father, her grandfather, a man who lived in another state. He visited twice a year, brought her gifts, spoiled her, told her stories, all the things grandpas do. And she loved him for it, but she didn't know everything. Last month, after I asked her to help clean the living room, she snapped. "Why do you always need help? My FIL did everything alone, unlike you." He never complained. She said it with such sharpness, like a knife wrapped in teenage honesty. I froze. My heart sank. FIL? Father-in-law? She meant my father-in-law. She meant Mark's dad. She compared me to him, without understanding the truth. She didn't know he wasn't alone. She didn't know the secrets he kept. She didn't know the part he played in what happened to her father. I wanted to shout, scream, tell her everything. But mothers don't break their children's hearts to fix their own. So I swallowed the pain for the moment. But Lily had spoken too soon, because something happened the very next day that changed everything she thought she knew about her grandfather and her father. The truth didn't come from my mouth. It came from a place I never expected. My late husband's old toolbox. The morning after Lily's harsh words, the house was unusually quiet. She wasn't talking to me much, still annoyed that I'd asked her to help with chores. Typical teenage storm. I tried to ignore the tension by cleaning the attic, something I had avoided for years. That's when I found it. Mark's old red toolbox. Rusty, dusty, untouched since his death. A wave of memories crashed through me. I sat down, opened the box slowly, and inside were his usual tools. But beneath them, taped to the bottom, was an envelope. Yellowed, crinkled, addressed to me in Mark's handwriting. Open only if something happens to me. My hands trembled. I hesitated for a long time. Then I opened it. Inside was a 2-page letter, and what I found made my blood turn cold. Mark wrote that in the months before his death, he discovered something deeply wrong with his own father, Lily's beloved grandfather. Financial lies, manipulation, a betrayal involving their family business. And something darker. Mark believed his father had indirectly caused the accident that killed Mark's own brother years earlier. He wrote that he was scared that confronting his father might lead to something terrible happening. He ended the letter with, "If anything happens to me, Claire, please protect Lily from him." I stared at the letter for so long that the attic light flickered and went out. My heart raced. My breath shook. Lily had no idea that the man she praised yesterday was the same man her father feared. And right then, as if fate timed it perfectly, I heard the front door open. It was Lily, and she wasn't alone. Standing beside her was her grandfather. Some people bring warmth when they walk into your home. Others bring a storm. My father-in-law brought both, but only one was real. When I walked downstairs and saw Lily standing with him, my heart dropped straight into my stomach. There he was, Robert, my late husband's father, tall, calm, composed, the kind of man who looked trustworthy even when he wasn't. Claire, he said with a gentle nod, as if nothing had happened, as if he didn't hold a past filled with secrets darker than I ever imagined. Grandpa came to surprise me, Lily said cheerfully, completely unaware of the letter, folded tightly in my fist behind my back. I forced a smile. That's nice. Inside, my mind raced. Did he know I found the letter? Did he feel threatened? Why suddenly show up today, of all days? He stepped inside like he owned the place. He had always been that way, confident, charming, manipulative behind the scenes, though no one but Mark ever saw it. Lily hugged him tightly. Mom, see? He always does everything on his own, driving all the way here by himself. He's amazing. His eyes met mine, sharp, knowing. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. Oh, I manage, he said. But there was something unsettling about the way he said it. We sat in the living room. Lily talked excitedly about school, her friends, everything. Robert nodded politely, giving her all his attention. But his eyes flicked toward me now and then, as if silently asking, "Did you read it?" My palms were sweating. I needed to protect Lily, but how, without revealing the truth too soon? Then, Lily said something that made my breath catch. Grandpa, I want to ask you something about Dad, something Mom never tells me. Robert stiffened, and in that moment, I realized he wasn't just here for a visit. He was here to control the story. Truth has a strange way of revealing itself. Sometimes not through answers, but through the fear in someone's eyes before they speak. When Lily said she wanted to ask him something about her father, the entire room shifted. It was like the air thickened. Robert sat straighter, his smile fading just a little. Just enough for me to notice. What is it, sweetheart? He asked, his voice soft but strained. Lily hesitated. She twisted her fingers together, nervous. Mom never talks about what Dad was feeling before he passed away. I was too young, but you were close to him. Grandpa, did he ever tell you he was scared of something? The color drained from Robert's face so fast it almost startled me. He swallowed. Scared? No. Your father was strong, brave. He wasn't afraid of anything. Lie. I could hear it in the tremor of his words. Lily pressed on. Are you sure? Because sometimes I feel like there's more to the story. ... Robert leaned forward, suddenly, placing a hand on hers. Listen to me. Your father died in an accident. A tragic accident. There's nothing more to know. His voice was too firm, too controlled, too rehearsed. My heart pounded. The letter in my pocket felt like it was burning through the fabric. Lily, I said gently, maybe we should talk about this later. No, she interrupted. I want to know. Grandpa, did Dad ever argue with you? Mom said. I said nothing. I cut in quickly, but it was too late. Robert's eyes snapped to mine, sharp and cold. For a split second, I saw a version of him Lily had never seen. A version Mark tried to warn me about. He stood up slowly. Claire, May I speak to you alone? Lily looked confused, and right then, I knew whatever he wanted to say, it wasn't meant for innocent ears. Some endings arrive like a storm. Others arrive like a confession you never expected, but cannot unhear. I followed Robert into the kitchen, my heartbeat thundering in my ears. He waited until the door swung shut behind us before he spoke. "You found it, didn't you?" he said quietly. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. His jaw tightened. "Claire, there are things Lily doesn't need to know. Things you don't understand." "I understand plenty," I whispered. "I understand why Mark was afraid of you." His eyes darkened, but he didn't deny it. He didn't dare. "You pushed him," I said. "You pressured him in the business. You drove him into fear. And now Lily idolizes you without knowing the truth." He exhaled shakily, the mask finally slipping. "I made mistakes. I pushed too hard, but I did not kill my son." "Maybe not directly," I said, "but you broke him, and you know it." His expression crumpled for the first time, not in anger, but in guilt. Raw, painful guilt. Every day since he died, I've lived with that. Before I could respond, Lily's voice came from the doorway. "Mom? Grandpa? What's going on?" She had heard enough to understand everything. Tears filled her eyes as she looked between us. "Grandpa, is it true? Dad was scared of you?" Robert's shoulders slumped. "Yes, Lily, he was. I pushed him too far. I thought I was helping. I wasn't." Lily stepped back, hugging herself. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I didn't want you to hate me," he whispered. She didn't answer. Instead, she walked to me and took my hand for the first time in months. "Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't know." I kissed the top of her head. "You weren't supposed to. You were supposed to be protected." Robert wiped his eyes. "If you both want me to leave, I will." Lily hesitated, then whispered, "I just need time." He nodded and walked out quietly, carrying decades of regret with him. And as the door closed, my daughter squeezed my hand and said the words I thought I'd never hear again. "Mom, you did it all alone, and now I finally understand."